Knull, the god of darkness and the creator of symbiotes. Knull is telling his story to the host, Eddie Brock. He tells him how he used to be the sole ruler of the void, and how the light gods invaded it. The dark god tells him that in the beginning there was nothing. It was all void. Then all of a sudden a war broke out and the Celestials invaded his kingdom of darkness. The light of the explosion was massive, and he fell into it for a long time until he came back to senses just to find out that they were the gods of light. The Celestials offered him to serve as the King in Black, but he rejected. According to him, the Celestials saw his home, the Void, as clay for their unwanted designs, and they would call it space as if it were an empty thing that needed to be filled. But it was never empty, and his abyss was neither dead nor hollow. It breathed. The vastness of his land was not theirs to raise, remodel, and remake. He decided to take revenge by creating a symbiotic blade, and beheading one of the light gods then. He used the divine powers of the severed head to refine the blade and create a metaphysical connection between him and other symbiotes. This metaphysical connection would help him to control those symbiotes. He also brags that as he forged the blade, he who was once called the god of forgotten ideas became the god of forge. He was unpolished in the beginning, so the creation of early proto-symbiotes was unclean. He further tells him that even today the weaker ones of his creations carry the scars of their progenitors' birth inside them, and still fear the fire of the forge and the constant, unpleasant noise of the celestial hammer beating their will into something handy. Furthermore, he tells that as his weapon was forged, he set out in the search of the light and all that came with it in order to banish them and return the universe to the void. He was proud that his living blade would soon be known as All Black, the Necrosword, the God Slayer. He further tells that he, together with his All Black, cut the throats of creation and choked 1 billion stars with the blood of the Almighty, until they fell and stranded on a nameless planet, and his firstborn, the God Slayer, was taken away from him by one of the inhabitants. After some time, while performing different experiments with his power, Knull came to know that he could create symbiotes, which were actually parasites, from the darkness, and bind them to lesser creatures or hosts. In this way, he was able to draw strength and obtain information from them about his surroundings. This primordial instance of symbiotes on this barren land was where it all began. This is where he gathered his horde. He became the center and unifying monolith by which all their thoughts swirled, connected, and flowed. Actually, he could control them across galaxies and see all the things going through their mind so that he could become powerful. He became their hive mind and god host. With each bright they destroyed, the void grew darker and darker, and the dominance of light became dimmer. Knull kept on conquering the world and created a set of 2 symbiotic dragons. When these dragons attacked the earth, they were humiliated by the god of thunder, Thor Odinson. He struck one of them with lightning and cut down Knull's connection to the other symbiotes, whom he called his children. Knull further tells that the other symbiotes started to unwind and find the new host. The light infected and poisoned the hive with the concepts of nobility and life. They became rebellions and captured the Knull and trapped him in a cage, which they called Clintar. Knull grabbed Eddie from the throat and tells him that all the things Venom told him were a lie, as the place he called his planet, the Clintar, is nothing but a cage created by symbiotes by continuously churning and rolling around one thing, Knull himself, as they cannot survive without their hive mind. The Knull further tells him that these symbiotes could do anything to conceal their secret, and that they are weak, liars, and betrayers, and he would be free from their Clintar soon to overpower them. At the end, Knull tells Eddie that this Clintar is the place he is imprisoned at, and he is piloting it while trying to complete the Grendel. As soon as he is able to finish all its missing parts, Grendel would come to free him from Clintar, and then he would finish what he had left behind by getting rid of the invasive light and strengthening his dark kingdom. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel.